Welcome to the #Attitudeshield podcast, the true mental operating script rewriting program designed for those looking for a change from within. No more hype or sugar-coated promises. This is to-the-point guidance on how to change the way we think to grab the life we always wanted. Are you ready for the change? Now your host, David L. Parker.
Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of #AttitudeShield's Wonderful Wednesday Wisdom with my good buddy Erich Jackson. How are you tonight, Erich?
I'm doing awesome, dude. Had a great week so far. Enjoyed the weekend, of course, just like everybody else. Yeah. Just, having a great day today.
Tell us what's so great about today. What's kicking for you?
Got a little sunshine today. It's been rainy here in Houston over the last week or so. Got a little sunshine today, so okay. I was able to get out and actually do my workout outside today, which, is always a plus. Get out and hit the track and do my thing there. But we're also really being a little bit relaxed on the mask mandate, so you're actually getting able to see people smile again, right?
No idea what you're talking about. I live in South Dakota. We didn't participate in that.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
It's just good to see people smiling again, man. You know what I'm saying? We've been living behind this mask for a minute, and people are starting to move around here in Houston. Places are starting to open up, and it's just a good vibe right now. So.
Awesome. So we're gonna have a little fun today. I'm gonna bring up some interesting little topics, some statements made by some great people. Go ahead. What?
You've been on point this week, man. I like that Monday episode. That one was, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that might have got a seed planted from somewhere.
Right.
I want to talk about a couple of ideas, but I think this one's going to be entertaining because I basically grabbed some statements made by some smart people and just want to see what you think. We'll see where it goes. How's that sound?
Let's go for it.
Mr. Tony Robbins, we'll start off at the top of the mountain and see where we go from there. Tony said something that I adore: identify your problems, but give your power and energy to the solutions.
Exactly.
In your life, you've had some challenges. So how have you done that?
Well, believe it or not, I'm a Tony Robbins student, so I'm wholeheartedly on his advice. And he actually starts out with the whole, we do more things out of desperation than inspiration, right? And in that, you find yourself, if you're able to transition over into the inspirational part of it, a lot of times you'll find yourself focusing more on the solution than on the problem. Right. Because it's not you, and it's funny because I was just talking about this to another couple of friends of mine today. When you initiate that confrontation of having to go through the process of starting something new, and I will throw something else out here for you. The keys to heaven are in the kingdom of hell, right? So you have to go through that hardship of learning, being vulnerable, coming from a position of not knowing, right? All the things that we tend to run away from to get to the kingdom of heaven. So again, yes, I wholeheartedly agree with having that, position of going into things from a positive standpoint and just focusing on the solution instead of the problem.
Right. I have discovered in corporate America over the last few years, they spend so much time having meetings, just spending massive amount of time identifying a problem, and then they don't really seem to go anywhere with it. When I took over running the bar that I'm taking over, the boss man gave me like 25 things to knock out that he said would take a year. Well, I'm 90 days into it and I'm done because I didn't focus on the problem. I made sure I focused on solutions. How do you get where you want to go? Not what's in the way.
Exactly.
if anybody ever focuses what's in the way, they're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to sit there and go, that looks too tough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about this one? Go ahead.
Another thing, I mean, you have to also change your mindset. And because if you're steady stuck on the problem, you basically think about it like this. You cannot solve a problem thinking in the same manner that got you into that problem. Right. And if you're steady focusing on the problem,
your operating script, the one you have, can't take you to the solution because it gave you the problem in the first place.
Exactly. So focus on the solution.
You and I get together, coming up with solutions. Right? How about Mr. Mark Twain? I actually like this one. It's very entertaining to me. Never argue with stupid people. They drag you down to the level and then they beat you with their experience.
Yes.
You and I both have experienced this one. You and I both have been drugged down and experienced this one. So come on, share it.
So many times have I got myself caught up in that. And here's the key to that.
Okay.
I was so focused on being right that I didn't focus on getting what I want.
Right.
So I ran down that rabbit hole, chasing the fight instead of chasing what I wanted. So
yeah, that's pretty normal.
You see what I'm saying? So you end up arguing and forget about what you're actually arguing about in the whole process, and you still end up walking away not getting what you want. So always focus on what you want. Focus on the bigger issue. What is it I want? How can I get to that particular place as quickly and as efficient as possible? How do I maneuver this conversation? How do I, use my intellect to get there instead of just being right? Because you can be right and still be wrong.
That's right. One of my favorite conversations, and I have so many conversations over a cup of coffee with my mentor, he would literally say, listen, David, you can wrestle with the pig if you want to, but you're going to discover two things. You're both going to get muddy and the pig likes it. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I'm not calling people pigs. What I'm saying is there's a lot of people out there that literally want to debate small-minded things.
Yep.
Now, I always bring up a cup of coffee because people get a lot done over a cup of coffee. So why don't you go ahead and buy me and Eric a cup of coffee. Click on the link right below. It says buy us a cup of coffee, right? And share all this stuff on your social media so we can build a great group. So speaking of cup of coffee, right?
Yes.
Speaking of mind, how about this one? You'll recognize this guy too. Great minds discuss ideas. The average mind discuss events, and small mind discuss people.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had to deal with those small, average, and great minds?
Yeah. Believe it or not, it's even more so now because I've been fortunate enough that my circle has expanded over the last 3 years, and just being able to meet new people, and because I'm moving and operating in a different mindset, it's opening doors up to me to people and places that I've not, had the opportunity to have available to me. And there's all levels. I find myself sitting in meetings with multimillionaires in, marketing meetings, trying to, learn things from them. Yep. And I also find myself with coaches and mentors, and then the everyday person. So it's that, some of to think about some of the days I've had from starting out in one level of conversation, then moving to another level of conversation, then finding myself in another level of conversation on, depending on the circle that I'm around at that particular moment. And it's interesting. It can get interesting. And I'm not going to badmouth any of it because I learned from all of it.
Yeah.
There's nuggets in all of it. So, yeah.
I think one of the greatest things I ever listened to a guy teach one time, and I've actually learned it, understood it, figured it out, and that was you got to understand what it takes to be a millionaire. To be a millionaire, you got to make $83,000 a week. So maybe you want to figure out how to make your income hit $1,000 a week, then $2,000 a week, then $5,000 a week. you have to take these steps. You can't eat an elephant in just one sitting. So you have to figure out how to discuss the idea to move from wherever you are to where you want to be. Everybody forgets this part in between. It's like I talk all the time about operating scripts. Tony Robbins and Dean Grazio and Maxwell and Cardone, and we could say 1,000 names, Franklin Covey. They teach these wonderful, wonderful mindsets, these wonderful ideas. But I sometimes worry about folks that they're thinking here, their operating script is on like 1,000,000.2, but Tony's teaching 4 million. You have to figure out how to evolve yourself from the small to the average to the great to make it work. So it's always fun to get into conversations with people like that.
And I can tell you that that's exactly where I was.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I was. And that was the lesson that I had to learn in following those people and learning from those people, is that there's a gap in between that I have to go through, that it's not necessarily something that can be taught. It's something that I have to experience.
Right. And
most people don't understand that going off. They're just looking at, well, they're teaching this, so I should be able to do this, in the next couple of weeks. No, it's a process. There's some things you have to try and learn and actually fail at to get that experience to understand simply understand some of the concepts, let alone utilize them.
One of the coolest pictures I think I've ever seen, motivational pictures, if you will, showed multiple words of failure all fall down. The F's on the side, A's on the side. It's all like, and there's a whole bunch of them. When you look at the sign, you can see that there's like 25 failures there. And sitting on top of all those failures is the word success. We have to understand, you have to build from somewhere. You don't go, just look at human from birth to 2 years old. What do they learn? They go from not being able to hold their own head up to rolling over to walking and all these kind of things. But yet we get to be an adult and we sort of decide that no, that we don't have to go through this process anymore.
Right.
And
you can minimize it, but you still got to go through it.
Yeah, you can definitely minimize it by hanging out with the right people. But one of the things you got to do is never lose sight of what you feel you were born to do.
Yes.
And what was Erich born to do?
I was born to speak.
Well, you do pretty good spec.
I'm getting, or I would say I'm getting to the point to where that is the guiding light in everything that I do, is being able to motivate, inspire, and, coach people up. And I've kind of fought against it for most of my life because of basically being the imposter syndrome. How can I teach and inspire others if I, don't feel that confident in myself? And that's, where I've transitioned in building that confidence and looking at the experiences that I have and understanding that there is value in those experiences. There is, my story is important, just as important as anybody else's. Yeah. And I matter. So from that aspect, I'm able to teach, coach, mentor, inspire, and share from my experiences. And the good thing about it, and the blessing that I have, is that I've allowed myself to be vulnerable enough to be able to pull down the veil and tell the absolute unabridged truth about myself.
Yeah, no more softeners.
So, exactly.
I get such a kick out of this made up word, imposter syndrome. How can a person be an imposter sharing what they've been through? Now, if I'm trying to teach you how to win the World Poker Series and I've never won a game of poker, that's an imposter. If I'm trying to teach you how to sell real estate and I've never sold real estate, right? That's some fake stuff. But when you're sharing your mess is your message. Yeah. And if we can help people maneuver around some of the mess, like we said, you got to go through the failures, you got to go through the transition. But if we can help you maneuver left and right around some of those cones, why wouldn't you? You got to be coachable. How many coaches do you have in your life right now, Erich?
Ooh, I'm upwards of 20 right about now.
Wow, you're really being conservative, are you?
I'm just being honest, dude.
That's a good number.
I learned from everywhere.
Right.
I literally learn from everywhere. And that has been so valuable to me, to be able to actually pull from everywhere and
Right.
on all different categories. So, and I think that's why I have such a wide berth of being able to speak in different arenas and to different people, because I'm not locked into, what this particular way of is, or this particular way. I taking the time to learn about everything from all different angles and embrace it all, because there's an underlying fact in all of it, which I found is that truth, effort, consistency, and belief.
Right.
That's the underlying factor in everything, every coaching system that you can look at, all the way back to the Bible. Same factors. And that's where a lot of it stems from. So there is no right or wrong way, in my opinion. It's finding the right way that works for you. And each of us learn differently. Each of us experience differently. Each of us move differently. So what works for me as a whole, which is, as you can see, embracing all of it, may not work for everybody else. You may have one person that I need to focus here, and you have those people, or you have people that can take from here and from there and from there and put together what they need, and move forward in that direction. So it's
that's a good one right there.
Over the place. That's what my 20 years, and that's actually growing, because I'm finding some young guns out there that are stepping up to the plate and putting out some good information.
And when it comes to putting in information, I've always felt there was like 5 steps to it. The first one would be the introduction, right? Talking about your mess. Why are you somebody who can speak to something? The next one is what I call myth busting, because there's always some kind of folklore or some kind of caca that's connected to everything about how to change, right? Yes. And then you discuss what you figured out as the mechanics of how you implemented your solution. And then, of course, you got to be able to maintain it. And how do you do that? What are the new habits and new hobbies and new lifestyle changes? And then every now and then you got to know how to troubleshoot your system to make sure that, you're still driving in the right direction. I find a lot of people out there as coaches don't think about things in 5 steps. Now, maybe they combine it. I'm not downing anybody. I'm just saying, for me, I just look at it as the big old intro, bust a myth. Let's talk about the actual movement, the mechanics, how we're going to maintain, and then how we're going to troubleshoot if we find ourselves in a challenge again down the road. Exactly.
Now, the only thing that I would add to that is, how do we reverse the conditioning that we've established over the years that we've grown, that we've literally came up? That's the only thing that I would add to that for me, because I think that is where most of us stall out, is that we get stuck in the conditioning that we've learned and accumulated over the years.
We forget to realize that we got to keep evolving.
Exactly.
We got to keep changing. We got to keep adjusting to move forward. Because when you're not evolving and you're not adjusting, you're moving backwards. It's automatic. How about this? We'll wrap up the show on this kind of chat. The most expensive thing in the world is blank. It takes years to earn it and a matter of seconds to lose it. What am I talking about?
Your reputation.
How about, that's a good one, but how about trust?
Oh. See, I've never had a problem with trust.
But I'm not talking about you trusting people. I'm talking about people trusting guys like you and I, because there's 50,000 people on YouTube right now going, we'll tell you how to be the most magnificent human being that's ever lived. And we both know that's a caca boo-boo lie.
Yeah. And the thing of it is with me is that, yes, you're correct in that. And I kind of tied it into my reputation because of the fact that I'm so all about just being truthful, so that you don't run into that. Because I see that so often, that you have these guys that are, out there, giving you good information, tons of good information, but they're not living it. So they turn around and they get caught up in scandals, or, cheating on their wives and this, thing, and that. And I'm like, you cannot do that. I'm sorry. There's no way around it. You're either going to live it wholeheartedly, mind, body, spirit, and all that, or stay away from it. Stay out of the arena.
Right. And those people, if they would have lived Oh my gosh. I don't even know why this is in front of my face, because I'm not even talking through this. This is the second time this week that I have not plugged in my microphone. So hopefully I don't sound like I'm in a tin can, but it's the second time this week that I haven't followed through on the mechanics of making a good. But hey, if you can't admit a mistake, if you can't admit your mistakes, you're guaranteed to make them again. So
exactly.
So hopefully everybody, if the tone of my voice, the volume, the clarity of it isn't as clear as normal with the big mic here, I apologize. But guess what? I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to quit doing this, right, Eric?
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
sure enjoyed that picture you put on Facebook this weekend.
Yes.
With about 8 other gentlemen, maybe 10. Who
Yes.
are those gentlemen?
That is my family. My dad, my uncles, my cousins, my nephews. That's the fam. That's the trust circle.
That's an awesome picture right there. It takes a lot of courage, and I commend you for sharing it. You put it out there for the whole world to see, and that's one of the things I always respect about you, Eric, is you're just straight up willing to put it out there. And of course, been another awesome, wonderful Wisdom Wednesday. Believe it or not, it's Tuesday night, everybody. The sun's going down, and tomorrow this is live because things got in the way for Eric and I, and we're not these kind of people that's going to record 2 months worth of shows in advance, because we want to be fresh, we want to be present in the moment.
Exactly.
We want to know what we're actually going to talk about, things that are happening in our lives, not some pre-recorded script of this is what you should do now.
No restraints, baby. Adapt on the fly.
All right, everybody, have an awesome week. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you be watching Eric on Facebook. He makes these great 1-minute motivational videos. I'm only slightly green with envy at how well he does it every single morning, but he really rocks it. And I'm setting a target, because I hate the word goal. I'm setting a target of Eric and I and at least 2 other people to start walking down the circuit and start doing live appearances and shows with people and teaching what we've been learning all these years. I mean, it's a lot of lessons, and we maybe even just call it simple lessons learned, and help people understand where we're coming from. All right, Eric, let's wrap it up. You got any last thoughts, my friend?
Be blessed. Be present and be present in the moment and be blessed.
I don't know how I can end it any better than that. Be present in the moment and be blessed. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next Wednesday. Say bye, Eric.
Bye.
He still won't say bye, Eric.
You've been listening to Attitudeshield, your double dose of espresso for your attitude. Check us out on Facebook and on the web at www.attitudeshield.com. Again, thanks for spending this time with us. Between now and when we talk again, keep those shields up, eyes on the target, and always be moving towards your dreams.